let's move on to the midfielders for now, the most exciting ones.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, go.
Yeah, as you can see, those of us that can't see, my main man Sancho is leading, leading. It's in the picture. So yeah, um, for new midfielders, we have Lokonga, I think it's from Anderlecht to Arsenal, and then we have
Yeah.
Buendia, obviously from Norwich. He's now in Aston Villa. We have Mepe, from can
RB
see
Live
here,
Salzburg.
like Salzburg to Brighton. Olise, Reading to Crystal Palace. Townsend, Crystal Palace to Everton. Gray, Demarai Gray from Leicester to Everton.
Leverkusen to Everton.
Leverkusen, oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then Sumare from Lille to Leicester. That's a very good signing. Sancho also Dortmund to, of course, Manchester, and then Trincao from Barcelona to Wolves. Yeah, so these are the midfielders that we have. Any standout apart from Sancho?
Yeah, I think Sancho, but yeah, Buendia is there with 15 goals and 15 assists. Of course, everybody will remember him
Yeah,
from his
from
time in the Premier League.
definitely.
But even that season, I think he was exceptionally good. He was just a very unfortunate player. He got like 7 assists, I think, but only managed 1 goal. But he should have got much more returns, attacking returns in that season. But unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But when he returned to the championship, he ended up with 30 goals and assists, 30 attacking returns. So and then he was the player of the season in the championship. He scooped up all the player of the seasons, the championship player of the
Wow.
season, the PFA player of the season in the League Cup. Yeah, he was really good for them, and he looks very, like he plays almost every game, so he's not injury prone and stuff like that. So playing minutes is very important for me, but then you have to back that up with a little bit of attacking return, and that is what he's offering. And now he moved to Aston Villa team with better quality. The Grealish, of course, Grealish. There is rumors that he could go to City, but
Yeah.
that is, but yeah, for now he's still an Aston Villa player. He just signed a new contract recently, so maybe Villa will not let him go that easily. And they have a good striker in Ollie Watkins, and I think they have good players around him. And in his first game, I think he played a preseason game. He managed to get a couple of assists, both for Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins scoring 2 goals. So yeah, Buendia is the standout one for me. And in my latest draft, I kind of just put him in there, but I don't know if he will be there in game week 1. But yeah, he's pretty standout. Other standout is Olise. Olise
Yeah,
of
his
from
numbers are
Reading.
looking really good. His
No,
numbers are
yeah,
good.
he was the young player of the season. Buendia was the player of the season in championship, and Olise was the young player of the season with 7 goals and 12 assists, and he was
Services, yeah.
pretty ever present with 44 games, starting 37 games. Yeah, the Premier League and the Championship is quite different, but I can see him having the impact of what is his name again? The Crystal Palace signing, the Dread guy, who's out
Is it?
injured now. Eze, yeah, I can see him having similar impact as Eze, and he could be an out of position player because sometimes he plays as a forward player, like a striker, but maybe he will play more as a winger and stuff like that. Yeah, but he looks pretty impressive. I watched a bit of his highlights, and he's a very very good player, I think. How about you?
Okay.
Other than your boy, drink out too.
My
You don't forget.
Trincao, yeah. Trincao too is impressive. Most of these, like, it's the goals and assists that you have to look at. Because even if they're moving from a league that is much easier than the Premiership,
Yeah,
you don't expect that all these numbers is gonna go to zero. They will still
yeah,
bring some of the contribution to the new team that they are playing. Doesn't matter how difficult the league is.
yeah,
So I think Buendia, obviously, he has experience with the Premiership, and like you said, he's in a better team now. He's definitely going to be part and parcel of their attacking threat. That's definite. Olise also seems very somebody who's very impressive, and that can ease off the burden from of the attacking prowess. Is from what's his name again? Eze, who's injured now, but
Eze
also
and Zaha.
Zaha as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's something that we need to look into. And then
yeah,
my main man Sancho is coming into a team that uh, whose right hand side has been missing a winger for the longest time. So I think
yeah,
giving his creative, maybe the goals and assists might not show you what he's really capable of, but his chance creation is something that we definitely need right now in our team.
hmm,
So I think also because Bruno is the one tasked with like the creativity in midfield, obviously for Manchester. So if Bruno has an off day, most of the time the team doesn't perform. But
Yeah.
if you have a Bruno and you have a Sancho on the right hand side or the left, doesn't matter where he plays because he can play either wing, or he can even play with Bruno's position as a 10 because he actually is very good with progressing with the ball the attacking areas. So I think he is one, but the problem is having Bruno and having Sancho in the team. So now it's going to be, if we see one of the preseason games, that's going to tell us what the formation or what the thinking behind having Sancho in the Manchester, like what is the, who's going to be more influential right now, especially for game week 1, because we don't know. We need to see a few more games and see how it's going to play out. But yeah, those are my standout for me. I think it's Sancho, Buendia, and then maybe the Olise guy. Also, another one we are forgetting to mention is Demarai Gray. He's always been a player that that has a potential. But I think Leicester was the most kind of like a difficult team to break into. But maybe at Everton, they'll give him the chance that he needs because he's not young anymore and he definitely needs more game time and he needs to prove himself in the the Premier League.
Yeah, well, for me, Gray, he moved to Germany and played for Leverkusen last season, and his numbers were not impressive. He only started 5 games. It might be due to injury and things like that. I don't know the details, but just 1 goal and 2 assists during his time in Germany. He only and they did not even they sold him for a very very cheap price. I think less than 5 million. So it means he did not do well
He
there.
was not impressed.
So
Yeah, he
he
didn't
was not
impress.
impressive. So for me, I don't see him having an FPL impact that could trigger FPL managers to get him. But you never know. As you say, he's a potential player, so you never know if he can find his feet at Everton with Rafa. Maybe who never knows, he could be an FPL asset. But I think otherwise, other than that, Sumare, you can see his numbers. 1 assist over the course of the season. He's a good player, but for
But he's a
FPL, I
more of
don't.
a defensive. Yeah, I think he's more of a defensive type of player.
Exactly. Trincao have a very good track record. Like he was a huge potential going into Barcelona from Portugal, but because you are going to Barcelona where you meet Messi, you meet the all those superstars there, you're not gonna get a lot of minutes. As you can see, 28 games he played, but he only started 3 at Barcelona. Even though he got 3 goals and 5 assists, which is not bad. It is difficult to tell what to expect from him. But if you are judging from his potential before he came to Barcelona, then maybe he's a player that could be worth 6 million sometime in the future. But these are players that you should not be targeting now, in my opinion. And also, but we have a good thing with Wolves. They have 4 very tough fixtures to start with, so this is a very good time to assess how good they are and things like that.
Yeah, with the new
Yeah,
coach
but
and everything. So there's a lot of changes right now. So
exactly. Arsenal's new midfielder too. He's more of a defensive midfielder, more controlling type of midfielder. Lokonga with three
Nukunga.
goals and 2 assists in 27 games. He was a captain. He's a good player. I saw a bit of his highlights. But for FPL, I think the new midfielders coming into the league, it has to be Buendia, Olise, and Sancho. I cannot look beyond that. If I was to punt on anyone, it's gonna be either any one of those 3.
Just to sidetrack for a bit, do you think it's time that FPL kind of make defensive midfielders a bit more enticing in the game? Like give points for, let's say, interceptions, tackles or something like that, because you can see players like Kante and all these defensive players are not really as enticing in the game because nobody goes for them, but because they don't assist or they don't score goals. But if you look at their contribution in the game, it's very influential. So
Yeah,
what's your
I
thoughts on
understand.
that?
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I think the Champions League, the German Bundesliga, even the Euros, they have kind of these kind of points where you can get more extra points. But the Premier League, I think, is a pretty simple FPL, which is good for if you
You
are not
keep
a
it.
hardcore FPL player, and if you are, you just want to play casually. It's good for everybody. So bringing all those things into play,
Makes it complicated,
yeah, it makes it
you
more
think?
complicated for people. So yeah, I think the FPL is good as it is. Maybe it's because of that is what we used to for me personally. But yeah, it's not bad to add those things, but it makes it a little bit more complicated in my opinion.
But the game has to improve. Like um in the last few years, I think they've improved, bringing in a second wild card and all these bonus point system, which they're still working on. I think has to be developed.
Yeah,
It wasn't really the best.
yeah.
But I think it's the way to upgrade the game every season and make it more interesting because, as you can see, there's more content out there for managers,
Yeah,
the new managers. You understand?
yeah,
So therefore, you have to keep the game competitive. If it stays the same, everybody's going to get caught up and it's going to be a problem. So
yeah.
they have to keep
That's
on,
right.
yeah, improving the game, making it, yeah,
Yeah, I agree with about contents, but what I mean is not about information not available, not being available. It's about some managers who don't even want to look at that information. They just want to play the game by themselves by watching the games and playing the game. Just make it basic, as simple as possible. I think well, I think this is the third year that FPL did not add any new features to the game because it's quite simple and yeah, like very easy to play,
yeah.
and
It's easy to
it's
play, to be honest. Yeah,
welcoming for everybody, every type of manager. Yeah, for me, yeah, I played the Bundesliga with you together. I played the Champions League and those kind of things. It's more complicated. You have to change your captain every day. You have to be on the
yeah.
game
That
every
that
day.
is that is that
So
is
some managers don't want to do all those kind of things. But yeah, it will not be bad to make a few changes here and there. But yeah, for me, as it stands, I don't see a pressing need for any extra change to the game.
Okay. So moving on, I think we've exhausted the midfielders and their potential. So we move on to the strikers now, or the
Yeah, we
attackers,
only
you can
have
say.
one striker who signed. There are a few, but we are trying to keep it to the key forwards.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, those ones that could have impact in our FPL season and stuff like that. And in terms of forwards, it's only Paston Daka who signed from RB Salzburg. He was a very impressive. As you can see, his numbers: 28 games he played. He only started 21, scored 27 goals and 4 assists. And he replaced Haaland like we discussed last time. He was the replacement of Haaland at Salzburg, and he did exactly what Haaland was doing before he left. Of course, the Austrian league is not the Premier League, but we saw Haaland. He left the Austrian league, went and set light
yeah.
in the Bundesliga. So
Set the
we never
Bundesliga
know
on fire.
what to
Yeah,
expect from Daka.
I think it's good enough. If you manage to score 27, unless the league is really really low in quality compared to the Premier League. But
Yeah,
I've heard good things about this Daka guy. But my problem now is going to be we have Iheanacho, who's also in Leicester. We have Vardy and we have
yeah,
Daka.
yeah,
So there's a competition right now. So
absolutely.
what is the new formation going to be, and who's going to be the starting striker? Because
Yeah,
Iheanacho finished the season on form last season.
yeah,
He was the on form striker. Vardy was injured most of the time, but he also became all of a sudden a provider.
yeah.
So how is Daka going to fit into this team now? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a big question, and yeah, thank God I'm not gonna be the manager, so I don't have to
It's a
have to
good
deal
headache to
with
have
it.
as a manager,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good headache to have. Yeah, but as we know, Vardy is now aging. He is now close into 30 years, 35 years or 36 years, something like that. So he's not getting any younger. And last season he was in and out of the team with injuries. Even though yeah, he still managed to score a lot of points, score a lot of goals, make a lot of assists. But I think going forward, it has to be Daka and Iheanacho. Iheanacho, you cannot bench him like you say. His form was so good, so you
He's
cannot bench him.
unplayable.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna play. But also you have to factor that they are gonna be in Europe. They're gonna play in the Europa League. So to have three strikers to be rotating them, I think it's not a bad thing. But I think in terms of Leicester, for me now, I think Iheanacho is the safest bet to go with. He's 7.5. He's not so expensive, and yeah, he was on form last season, so we expect him to start. Daka, we don't know is he gonna be bed into the team gradually, with changing with Vardy and stuff like that. That's why I don't even want to consider Vardy as an asset. He's too expensive, and then he might be rotated. So I think looking at Leicester's forwards, it has to be Iheanacho. But yeah, I'll be watching Daka with keen interest. Once he
Definitely.
start,
Yeah.
when he gets his foot running, then I will not hesitate to get there.
At 7.5 for somebody who scored 27 goals. But the problem is, I think don't you think it's a bit expensive, or the price is just perfect? It's fair
Well,
enough.
he's going into a Leicester City team. It's quite a huge team. If they didn't have the two strikers, if we knew he was gonna start straight into that team, I think we would have accepted the 7.5 million as a good price. He scored more goals than any other striker in the league, even the Bamfords. Of course, the leagues are different, but he was playing in the Champions League, playing in the Europa League for Salzburg. So Salzburg is not a small team. And like I say, we can just look at Haaland. Haaland left the Austrian league and went to the Bundesliga, and then he was already on fire, scoring I think scoring a hat trick in his debut and stuff like that. But also we can look at it in the other hand. Minamino came to Liverpool. He struggled to settle in there from the same team. So
the same team,
yeah. So it is quite tricky. So the best thing to do with him is just to wait and see. But I think the 75.5 million will be justified in due course, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So that ends transfers, the new players discussion.